Hey everybody, what's up? I want to demonstrate to you how to do a watercolor wash on a background, namely sort of a watery kind of aqua-looking technique that's fun, super fun and easy to do. So what I did here was I drew a few fish and some seaweed on this piece of paper, on this piece of watercolor paper, and I colored them in with with heavy crayon, thick waxy crayon. I pressed hard and colored them in nice and solid because the crayon, the waxy crayon, will resist the paint. It's called a crayon resist. What that means is that the paint, the watercolor paint will not stick to the crayon. So I can kind of paint around my fish and not have to worry too much about getting it on the fish and, staining the fish and painting the fish. So, what I have here is a palette of watercolors, water container, a round brush, that's it. Oh, and my trusty piece of paper towel. Sitting next to me is my 9-year-old daughter, Shay. Say hi, Shay.
Hi.
She's going to help out too. She's watching, and she might try her hand at this after we get started. So my paper towel is crucial. This is great. You need this. It's definitely a necessary item. This dries your brush, takes paint off your brush, can blot your paper if you get too much water on. It's all around handy to have. Okay, so let's do it. What I'm going to do here, to do a watercolor wash, we do one section at a time. And in order to do this, watercolor wash involves painting your paper with clean water first. So clean water is key. Never be lazy about changing your water. When your water gets dirty, when you're working with watercolors, obviously it's going to directly affect your paint. So you want to change your change your water often. So I have a pretty decent amount of water here and the green thing on my paper. So I'm going to put a little more water on. I don't want to puddle. Next thing I'm going to do is take my paper towel. I'm going to get the excess water off of my brush, and I'm going to dip it in the paint, and I'm just going to start dabbing it on there. There's lots of ways to do a wash. You can use a wide brush, do stripes, makes for a pretty cool sunset, something like that. There's no right or wrong way to do it. So I'm just going to let the paint kind of let the paint spread out on that water there. And as soon as I have something that looks pretty cool, a little too much paint, so I'm going to take some off of my brush, kind of move it around. As soon as I have something that looks pretty cool, I'm going to stop. I don't want to overwork it. If I overwork it, it's kind of going to all blend together and just make that blue is going to mix with the green, and we'll have blue-green. Okay, so let's do it again. Clean water, right? I'm going to paint a section. If it looks like I have a big puddle, I can always here's a pro tip. Dry your brush, right? Dry brush means you're getting most of the water out. It's still damp, obviously. And I can pull water right off of my paper, or water and paint, actually. The bristles of the brush will pull it right off the paper if I need to do that. But I'm going to add a little more here, because that's not quite enough. A tiny bit more. And I'm going to grab some of this paint and drop it on. Get some of that blue. Drop that on, maybe some of this green over here. I believe is a darker green, yeah. I'll make sure I got it everywhere I want it to go. You can see that, if you can see the spots on my seaweed there, that's paint. That's because the crayon, the waxy crayon, is resisting the paint and it doesn't stick. Pretty cool. So far so good, right, Shay? Mm-hmm. Want to try?
Yes.
All right, Shay's gonna try. You gotta leave it here so it stays on camera, okay? Here you go. Why don't you do like this section here?
Just
paint it with clean water. Good. Make sure you get all in by the tail. Good. Get your paint on there before the water soaks in. One thing with a wash is that watercolor paper is made to absorb water. So if you're doing a wash and you're painting with clean water, you can't really wait too long. It will soak in a matter of just a couple minutes.
Is that enough water?
And then, yeah, that's enough water. So dip it, just the tip. When we're painting with watercolors, guys, another pro tip, I think, is just to use get paint on the tip of your brush. You do not need to coat your whole brush, the whole bristles with paint. You have less control over it then.
And
How about some blue?
Yeah.
You want blue?
Should I wash it?
No, you don't have to. There you go. Dab it on there, move it around. Looking good.
Maybe I should
Here's
draw
something
it.
else that I've done in the past. Sometimes it's kind of hit or miss. While a section of your paper is very, very wet still, I can sprinkle a little salt on there and leave the salt on until it's totally dry. The salt crystals kind of partially dissolve and it makes for a cool effect, if it works. I think it depends on the salt, what's in the salt. Sometimes usually works. Sometimes it doesn't though, but we'll see.
Okay.
So, and you can see what happens here. You just kind of enjoy the process. Good job, Shay.
Thanks.
Take your time, one section at a time. I have a bunch of fish here because I was inspired to draw fish because my son has a YouTube channel, The Aquarium Life, and he's really into fish tanks. He's good at it. He knows a lot about freshwater fish tanks. And he's got a channel, so maybe check it out if you have a chance. It's called The Aquarium Life. My son Eden. Right, Bear?
Yes.
All right. So, there it is, folks. Watercolor wash 101.
Dad, do you have to if you wanted to split it up, let's say you did some blue there and green, and then over here you did purple and blue. Can you mix it up if you wanted to?
Yeah, good question. There's no right or wrong answer when it comes to something like this with most art. So you could do whatever you like. I'm not sure how much I'd want to switch colors too much because we're going for, fish are swimming in water.
Got it.
But you can certainly, purple's actually good. Let's try a little purple. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. If you dug this and you liked it, subscribe. All right. Bye-bye.